Electric cars weren't born in the 21st century. In the early 1900s, they quietly zipped through the streets of New York and Detroit. It's cool. Any other thing it made the same? Well, this series must stand up and muster, because if you need to sin, it is a simple perspective of this day. When they Procter Catheters one of those countries, brands like Detroit Electric catered to urban drivers, especially women, at a time when gasoline engines were noisy, difficult. But despite their early promise, these silent machines faded into the background for nearly a century. The fall of early electric cars wasn't due to conspiracy. It was economics and infrastructure. Gasoline became cheap and widely available. Henry Ford's assembly line made internal combustion cars affordable to the masses. Meanwhile, electric vehicles were expensive and limited by slow, heavy batteries with short range. As rural road networks expanded, and it's a bit similar, embraced long distance travel, the gasoline engine roared ahead, leaving electric models in the dust. Electric cars remained a footnote until the 1973 oil crisis shocked the world. With gas stations running dry and prices spiking, interest in alternatives surged. Automakers and governments began experimenting with electric prototypes. Yet the technology lagged, and so batteries were heavy and weak. The vision was there, but the infrastructure and investment weren't. EVs remained a lab project, not a viable solution. In 1996, General Motors launched the EV1, the first mass-produced electric car of the modern era. It was fast, quiet, and beloved by early adopters. But the EV1 was never sold, only leased. Then suddenly, GM ended the program and repossessed the cars. Many were crushed, sparking protests. GM cited high costs and limited demand. Critics accused oil and auto industries of sabotaging EV progress. The truth? A mix of business realities and political hesitancy. In 2008, Tesla launched the Roadster, a sleek, fast sports car that shattered the image of electric vehicles as dull or limited. Using laptop-style lithium-ion batteries, it proved EVs could go far and fast. Elon Musk took a Silicon Valley approach to cars: software first, direct-to-consumer sales, and aggressive innovation. The Roadster wasn't cheap, but it set the stage. And Tesla wasn't just selling a car. It was selling a future. And essential. While Tesla grabbed headlines in the West, China quietly became the global epicenter of electric vehicles. Backed by massive government subsidies, local automakers like BYD and NIO flooded the streets with affordable EVs. And today, China produces more electric cars than the rest of the world combined. Now, the state didn't just fund factories. It built entire supply chains, from battery minerals to software platforms, with one goal: global leadership in the future of mobility. Electric cars rely on lithium-ion batteries, triggering a global race for resources. Most lithium comes from South America's lithium triangle. Working out, cobalt, critical to battery performance, is heavily mined in the Congo, often under harsh and exploitative conditions. As demand grows, environmental and ethical concerns mount. Meanwhile, scientists rush to develop safer, cheaper alternatives, like solid-state batteries. The EV revolution runs on energy, but also on extraction. Are EVs really clean? It depends. Manufacturing EVs, especially their batteries, is energy intensive. If charged from coal-heavy grids, they still emit indirectly. Over their lifetime, EVs generally pollute less than gasoline cars, but they're not zero impact. Recycling and clean energy integration are key. The truth is, EVs aren't green by default. They're cleaner, but only if the system around them is too. Electric cars need more than plus. They need a nationwide grid of fast, reliable chargers. But many countries lag behind. Inconsistent standards, spotty networks, and long wait times frustrate drivers. While Tesla's superchargers set the pace, public infrastructure often struggles to keep up. Without charging confidence, EV adoption stalls. It's not just about building cars, it's about rewiring the world. Electric vehicles are no longer just transportation, they're politics. In the EU, if you want to save, and Europe, subsidies, bans on gas cars, and emission targets have turned EVs into ideological battlegrounds. Critics frame them as elitist or government imposed, and supporters see them as urgent tools in climate strategy. The car, a symbol of freedom, is now also a symbol of division. As early EVs age, a new problem emerges: the secondhand market. If you're out to see an unserious model, battery degradation, expensive replacements, and unclear warranties create uncertainty. What some vehicles lose half their value in just a few years, others are shipped to developing countries where repair infrastructure is even weaker, where without long-term support, electric cars risk becoming disposable technology. Repeating the mistakes of the past, electric cars are no longer the future, they're the present. But their real story isn't about gadgets or billionaires. It's about mining, labor, policy, and power. It's a technological shift shaped by politics, global trade, and human ambition. Whether they deliver a greener world or just a cleaner looking one will depend not just on how they're built, but on how we choose to drive the future forward.